here is why I talk about digital revolution. So in essence, what I believe is, especially in the recent years, there's been an evolution of the payment in terms of small steps into the payment process. But now we're seeing a change that is quite fundamental, which is a change in the medium of the exchange per se. And this is why I talk about revolution rather than evolution. This path is not very linear, right? I'm not expecting to say that now that we have moved into the digital currencies and make payments with digital wallet, etc. Now we can still make payments in physical currency. We can still use cash, go to ATM and make a transaction somehow. So a new stage doesn't really completely remove the previous one. It just lives in parallel. But what I really mentioned before, we cannot avoid it. An institution can no longer just say, it's not going to exist. It's just going to disappear. It took a lot of time, it took a lot of FUD, probably, but eventually a lot of organizations, including banks, investment funds, car network, insurance company, there is a long, long list, they have turned from saying, it is just, being very dismissive of crypto assets into becoming like a player into the space. And yesterday evening, despite clearly the interesting day for the crypto assets, Wells Fargo had an announcement saying they are not gonna allow trading in Bitcoin, allowing their wealthy customer to actually deal with the Bitcoin. So it's actually happening. For example, there is this report from Mastercard that actually says that more than 40% of the people interviewed will look at cryptocurrency next year as a payment method. Millennials are more interested, and more people want to get into this. If you look backward, the pace of innovation has changed and increased dramatically. There has been more innovation over the last couple of years than the previous 70, and clearly more innovation in those 70 years than in the previous 2000, where there was virtually none. We have moved towards a more sort of digital society for payments through COVID and through innovation. But there are already new use cases coming up in crypto that can no longer be ignored. We can like them, not like them, but cannot really be ignored, considering the magnitude. And until there is a potential for CBDC to be launched and therefore to disrupt the industry and have some consolidation on that. I put also a little chart to explain at a high level where I think the maturity stage of this payment solution is going to really be, and then how this is going to evolve in the future. But all for me now. Thank you.
If anyone has any questions for Andrea, you can use the chat box on your screen there. But that was terrific. Thank you, Andrea. And our apologies for the few connection issues we had there. We've been putting our faith in technology for the last 12 months. So I'm very sorry about that. But I think, it's certainly a topic that certainly we as an organisation, we have been looking at. And it'd be great if you could come back for a dedicated session, Andrea, on that, in the next couple of months or two.